Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Franchise Pearson, and welcome again to my channel. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. June 11th of 2025. I have 11 p.m. Went for a long ride tonight, do some thinking, and sat back and listened to part of the game that is the NBA Finals. I was a little disturbed by some videos that I had seen in relation to the protests. It appears to me that it is gradually ramping up. I did a previous video where I showed Donald J. Trump was at the Kennedy Center. It appears everything is about theater. I believe I said that life mimics theater, something like that. Life mimics it. Let me get that exact quote, because this is important. Art imitates life. How fitting. So yeah, I watched some looting, and my mind went all the way back to the George Floyd Antifa moment. I'm like, I got to get out of the house. I got to get out of the house. I fought myself to stand, but I'm like, I got to get out of the house. God did not design us to continue like a sponge and absorb these things. Even a sponge gets heavy, and the weight of the liquid has to come out. So before I blow my mind, I have to do an exit. You see, people, I'm a former business owner. I've helped run businesses. I've helped people set up business. And what I saw, both from the corporate end to the everyday mom and pop, it disturbed me. I said to you guys recently that things would get worse. And I'm wondering, are we going to have a finale on Trump's birthday? Or will it get worse? You see, because the thought that I had was, well, there are 50 states in the union. And right now we have about 6 major cities which are questionable with the protests. But now that you have looters in the mix, I was like, Pearson, there's not enough. We don't have enough people, enough police, enough reserves. You would have to call up all the retired and all the aspiring people in law enforcement to handle this. I'm built to think long-term, short-term, and project. And so tonight I asked myself, what if? What if we get 15, 20 cities or states? Because this weekend is No King, what do they call it? No King Day. That's the day that Donald Trump and the army will be in celebration. And I don't want to be a doomsdayer or a pragmatist. But this thing started last, Friday. And here it is Wednesday. It's growing. I want to play for you 3 videos. I refuse to risk the channel and show the basic looting in case it will be a violation. I will put those videos in the description. Walgreens, CVS, mom and pops, and telephone stores the last 2 days. And I hate to say it, the majority of them were black and brown, and of them, majority were black. It's as if my mind went right back to George Floyd. I just like, America, I need to say something to you. It might get to a point where people in the neighborhood literally are going to defend themselves against this progression. It's easy for me to call it civil WAR. I don't want to coin it that way. What I want to say is there are a lot of people out here like me that treasure hard work. We treasure family. We treasure neighborhood, communities. This wicked dialect and feeling and definition of hood and hood rats as opposed to having family and communities. And there's only a minority. And I said to you guys, it was going to get to this point because I believe they're going to bust these people in. They're going to put them on buses from other cities, and we're already in the thick of it. And will the grand finale be June 14th? Will they show out to a point where they will reach a percolation moment? And then they're like, okay, we had our fill. We showed you Trump. But I also said that every major historical group that was fighting for their rights, trying to be heard, trying to get the legislators to craft policies, every last one of them, from the black civil rights movement to the women's movement, they've all been hijacked. And now look at us. I still believe that 99.9% of people want to protest, even if they're wrong, even if they're on the wrong side. Of the law, and upset that they just might go back because they're illegal. They didn't do the documentation properly. Even if they're wrong, I believe the majority of them are peaceful. And the powers know how to have this secret ingredient at the right place at the right time. And the average person is not informed, and they don't understand warfare, and they don't understand subliminal goals where you just implode. So I want to play these videos and I want to come back and finish my commentary. I want you to listen.
California rioters just ransacked the Apple store. What's this about? Whoa, it's like a stampede. Look at these guys. This is crazy. And they're inside the store. Look at them just ripping phones, taking stuff. Wow, this is crazy. Look at all these people. There's no police anywhere. They are just ransacking this place, clearing it out. Oh, you hear the police? Are they going to run? They're leaving. Everyone's got something in their hands. Oh, there they go. One police car showing up. That's all it took. There they go. Look, there's still people inside the store. This is a massive Apple store. Look, these guys, they still want to go get something. Oh my goodness, what mayhem. There's graffiti all over the place.
An Apple store. Probably the average phone is probably between $200 to $2,000. Do you realize the cost beyond the phone? All the windows shattered, doors broken, the display ripped, and then the amount of police and the overtime. There's a cost to all of it. There's a cost on so many levels. A business, a community, a nation can only absorb so much cost. Before it's no longer operable. Hold that thought.
Stores have been looted overnight with some arrests made as officers fought off some of those suspects. We know overnight the Adidas store, a jewelry store, the Apple store, a shoe palace, 2 dispensaries, and 2 pharmacies have been broken into and looted. Many of those stores on Broadway. More.
Did you hear that list? Listen to the list of places.
As officers fought off some of those suspects, we know overnight the Adidas store, a jewelry store, the Apple store, a shoe palace, 2 dispensaries, and 2 pharmacies have been broken into and looted. Many of those stores on Broadway. More buildings and police vehicles have been defaced. One downtown LA resident we spoke with says he hasn't seen this kind of looting escalate like this since 2020.
No, these are looters. Call it what it is. These are looters. This has nothing to do with the protest. These are opportunists that decided to come loot the neighborhood. Now the neighborhood's going to suffer. The businesses are going to pay for it. We're going to pay for it, and it's all for nothing.
We're all going to pay for it. Arguably, these are the months where the businesses make decent money. And there will be a ripple effect. If I had to guess, for the next month at least, those businesses have to regroup, board up, clean up, file insurance claims, get fresh inventory, probably redecorate. They might be open in maybe 3 days to maybe 2 weeks, depends on the damage. But the fear that it could happen again, a consumer, if you've got, let's say, 10,000 consumers, you might as well say 50% of them aren't coming out to shop. Not because they don't like the product. They fear for their lives. That's a cost. I want you to understand where I'm going with this. I want you to understand the state of mind of someone who wants to take over a country. You see, because they did this 4 years ago, 4+ years ago with George Floyd. And now they're doing it again. They're pros by now, but they've been doing it overseas. But this time, I believe they're not going to take the foot off the gas. And this is what I'm saying. I'm thinking that you and I are going to look at this thing in a few more days. You're going to have your block club and your community meetings. And you are going to protect what is yours. And these young, silly kids, who I do believe are hired, they're going to get the living hell beat out of them. They might end up in the hospital. They might not make it out of the community. And people, I'm expecting the powers to not only infiltrate the protest movement, I'm looking for them to instigate in the neighborhoods. I would pray that the gangs in all the big cities utilize some wisdom and say, you know what? This might be a strange truce, but something ain't right with this. We've seen protests before. I might not like the brother because he's a Crip. I might not like the brother because he's a, GD. I might not like this, that, and the third. Say no more about this turf war. But there's something ain't right with this. And we need to call a truce and recognize that there's a bigger gang out here. A well-funded gang out here. A sophisticated, playing for keeps, all the marbles gang out here. And we better protect our neighborhood. Even the neighborhood of those that we don't like. Because something ain't right. I'm hoping that everybody has their moment of quote unquote patriotism, their realization that this is your home. This is something that you built, sweat and blood, your uncles, your mama, your daddy, your grandparents, your great-grandparents. And you're not going to let somebody come up in your neighborhood and in one night destroy generations of hard work. I wanted to run this video tonight and talk about that because we got to think long term. I want to play one more video because I want you to listen to a guy here. He speaks on this in a sense, how to take over a country.
If I wanted to invade a country and take it over, I want to first try to destabilize it, obviously, that make it much more simpler. And I'm not going to
Destabilize it first. Listen to him. First move.
If I wanted to invade a country and take it over, I want to first try to destabilize it, obviously, that make it much more simpler. And I'm not going to be worried about the women in that country. I'm not going to be worried about the children in that country because they're most likely not going to be the ones that stop me from invading and taking over. I would be worried about the men. And when I say men, I mean the able-bodied men, the ones that would keep me from trying to take over said country. The able-bodied men would be the ones that would stand in my way. To be strategic for decades, I would be trying to demoralize these men, to feminize. Want to invade a country and take it over, I want to first try to destabilize it, obviously, that make it much more simpler. And I'm not.
I want to make a plan, and I want to destabilize it first. Now that's a broad, general term, but specifically you hit your points. If you target the man, if you target the head, the battle's won. The question is, how do you target him? I think anybody over the age of 18 can rationalize enough thoughts and look at what is occurring and look at what has occurred and know the difference between normality versus not, stability as opposed to instability. Like I said the other day in one of my videos, Satan has a law. Basically do whatever the hell you want to do. It's witchcraft. But even if I didn't understand the spiritual aspect, I know that God designed us with a level of respect. And I know there are certain things that will cause you to respect. I want my fellow Americans to be smart and to be wise in case it comes to your city and your neighborhood. I want you to make a plan. Because I got a feeling they're going to try us. It's a thing like, well, it worked the first time, I can do it again. And if at first we did it and we got away with it, we can go deeper this time. We can go right into the neighborhood. Let's see how far we can press. So you might have to give up some of that sports and recreation over the next couple of weeks and start having some meetings in your neighborhood, just in case. You see, because you're not going to get a second chance at this. I watched, and I was in the middle of a disturbance a few years ago. The security company that I was with, I had my own company car. And I was caught in a route that I'm familiar with, but I was trying to get to one of my buildings to check on one of my security officers. And I just happened to stop at a stoplight. And as it turned red, I looked to the right of me. I've told this story before. And there was a guy. The car was pink. That's what got me. I'm like, pink car. He had his window slightly down. And so I looked a little bit closer and I saw him talking into like a voice piece, whatever it was. And then I looked at the whole car, because I'm a car nut. When I tell you he had the longest antennas I've ever seen on a car, he had the longest antennas that I've ever seen on a car. And he had maybe 8 of them. Once the light turned green, 4 blocks later, I drove not too far from where a cathedral of Black Lives Matter Antifa people were cutting up. And I realized that the person I saw in the car and the conversation he was having was with those people. What I'm trying to tell you, they run a very sophisticated operation. You better run one too. God bless America. God bless America.